All right, all right. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm happy to be here. Before we start, I just want to say um, I just said in April a month-long retreat. Well, it was March and April at Big Bear Retreat Center, and I am so happy to give back this way. I had very, very incredible experience. So today our topic will be equanimity. We will start with guided meditation that will be focused on equanimity, and then I'll offer some reflections, and there will be also opportunity to ask questions and be in discussion at the end. So let's begin. And oh, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you choosing to come here and practice with us, and more on that later. So just finding a comfortable sitting, or if you prefer, lying down or standing position, and just taking time to arrive into your body. So feeling whatever is connecting or contacting earth, whether it's feet, buttocks, just feeling that sense of support. So we can begin to let go, soften. Might be helpful also to take few deeper, longer intentional breaths to help us arrive. And receiving how you are. How is the body, mind and heart? And however you are, it's helpful to keep in mind that every time we show up for a sit, for a meditation, we are asked to meet and deal with everything that has gone before, the momentum. So it's quite a courageous act to sit, pause, and be with our hearts, minds, and bodies. So breathing with, letting the body breathe with life. And especially if something difficult is arising, reminding yourself, encouraging yourself, I can be with this. I can be with anything for one breath. anything. I can show up and hold anything and everything for one breath. Remembering our attention and how is it engaged in this moment? Is it intentional? And then remembering to return. Here, the body sitting and breathing. This breath. Remembering and returning to the awareness of the body sitting and breathing right here. As we are experiencing life with our bodies, hearts, and minds. Once again, it might be helpful to remember that we are meeting or dealing with everything that has gone before, karma that has already occurred, and where the mindfulness intersect, that we can choose what's arising, but we can choose how to respond, how to be with what's arising, what's occurring. And that's a power. So the patterns that can lead to suffering can be changed. We can choose something else. So remembering the attention and returning, choosing to engage our attention with intention, with awareness. Being with, just simply showing up, being present. No need to control, fix, just breathing with life. So we are cultivating equanimity breath by breath, choosing to be with, choosing to be present to our experience as it's unfolding. I can be with this. I can be with this for one breath without any reactivity. Remembering your attention and returning to the awareness of the body sitting and breathing this breath. choosing to be here, to be with, to be in relationship with our experience. So I will read a short poem writing by Anne Morrow Lindbergh. It's just nice to have a poet's view. Their beautiful language really can enrich our understanding of equanimity. So as I read these words, just allow the words to drop in and touch you and perhaps even rearrange something in you. Just receiving with whole being and contemplating. When the pain is great, go with the pain. Let it take you. Open your palms and your body to the pain. It comes in waves, like a tide, and you must be open as a vessel lying on the beach, letting it fill you up, and then retreating, leaving you empty and clear. And with a deep breath, it has to be as deep as the pain. One reaches a kind of inner freedom from the pain, as though the pain that you experience were not yours, but the body's. The spirit lays the body on the altar. So once again, welcome everyone, and thank you for your practice. Today I would like us to reflect on the practice of equanimity and the quality of equanimity. It is something that has been very personal and very useful to me in last 3 weeks. I was in a car accident that I did not cause, but I'm dealing with results. Part of it, I have this new scar, for those who know me. So equanimity has been so helpful to hold what happened without going to blame, anger, victim, to allow myself to experience. That's why I also chose the words of the poet, what I'm experiencing, sadness, the trauma, and just really turn towards healing, turns to what's occurring right now and how to respond. I feel so grateful for this practice. And that is what I would like to share today. It's such a incredibly powerful response to dukkha. And there has always been dukkha in the human realm. It's nothing new, but we sometimes go through periods when there is just a lot. And what equanimity allows, when it's cultivated and mature, it allows us to be the translation of upekkha. You know, we say equanimity, but it really means here in the middleness. Here in the middleness. So we can hold what's occurring without reactivity, but also without apathy or indifference. And as the upekkha matures, as it grows, we can hold more and more. And that's what we've been practicing in the sitting, just one breath at a time. One breath at a time. It's such a powerful practice. This reminder that we can be with anything, one breath at a time. So one of the symptoms I'm experiencing, because where I hit the steering wheel, it's where the trigeminal nerve is. So I get all kinds of sensations through my face, and it will heal, but it will take 3 to 6 months. So it goes from tingling to stabbing and just that practice of pausing, acknowledging the pain, sometimes tears in my eyes. I can be with this for one breath. Just sometimes it's just an inhale before the reactivity may kick in. But even that, what it does, it interrupts that momentum, right? We also, when we were practicing the sitting meditation, it was what we are meeting is the karma, all these actions that were put in place. And so what I'm receiving is what we refer to as result of karma, right? Karma vipaka. And I cannot change what's arising, but when the mindfulness and other beautiful qualities, loving kindness, equanimity, patience, they can interrupt that momentum of conditioning, the momentum of patterning, especially the old ingrained patterns that just bring more dukkha. And that's the power of the practice. It's momentary, it can be brief, but that powerful. And this is especially important when we are asked to, think about what we are asked to hold personally and collectively. So as the practice matures, as this quality matures, we experience all life instead of out there, it here. So as we experience life and everything more intimately and deeply, we are also asked, among other things. You see, today it's like I'm not just focusing on dukkha, because when we are experiencing life closely and intimately, it's not just more dukkha we are experiencing, it's also more joy, it's also more happiness, or all, everything, right? But that's what we are asked as practitioners. The deeper we experience the life, the more of the dukkha we are experiencing, ours and also collective. And with equanimity, it allows us to meet it, to hold it. Especially with all the Brahma Viharas, we have what's called like near enemy, which is a quality that may look like equanimity, but it's not. It can be indifference, aloofness, disconnection, bypassing, all of that, right? And then there is what we call far enemy, which is the opposite. So for equanimity, it will be reactivity, and it's usually through attachment and aversion that we react. So we can, it's little by little, we can hold more and more, and also knowing that this is my capacity today, or this is my capacity in this moment, this is what I can hold without going over to apathy, to indifference, and or reactivity. So as we move through the day, when equanimity is operating in the mind, when it's alive, because it's in every human, every mind stream, right? But as we focus on it, as we start maturing it, cultivating, it starts operating and it becomes more and more dominant force. Then when we meet something, right, we can reflect. So we meet, let's just say, jealousy, worry, anger. When we are experiencing, we pause and reflect. Am I asked to hold this? Am I asked to transform this? Am I asked to let go of this? Am I asked to just sit with it with the question, oh, what is the best medicine for this? Because you may have noticed that Dharma is a medicine. That's what Buddha offered, pretty much a medicine for every form of dukkha. And with upekkha is a medicine for reactivity, for overwhelm. And we pause, well, I don't know what's needed. What's needed here? What kind of response would be helpful? So we hold it until we know, instead of this push to figure it out, to fix. Do you know what I'm talking about? Or without enough equanimity, when there is a lot we are asked to hold, a lot of discomfort, a lot of pain, a lot of unknown, we can choose, and that was one of my favorite responses, okay, I'm gonna try to control this. I'm gonna control this, and I'm gonna try to bend life my way. So with equanimity, there is this deep understanding and knowing that I can be with life without needing to control it, fix it. I can be with the up and down. I can be with the change, the constant change. I can be with all of that. And as we grow this quality, our confidence, our, I use the term, it's a power, but it's particular strength where we are able to go, of course I can be with this. So we develop more confidence in our ability. We can sit with other people's pain. We can sit with other people's reactivity as well as ours. And it's little by little as we grow confident. So often with something unexpected, something tremendous like this accident, and for a while not knowing what will manifest as the trauma, as the injury begin to heal, there was this sense of, well, okay, so I would like to know when this is gonna go away. I would like this to be fixed. I would like this pain to go away. And instead it was, okay, today it's like this. Because I still have a days when it's very easy, and then there are days that I cannot even engage with the computer or with reading anything. And I'm sharing this particular accident because that happens a lot. It was just ordinary day. I was driving down from teaching, and then I met the person who was clearly not paying attention. And just the reflection on this human condition and the precariousness, is that how you pronounce it? Precariousness, yes, of human condition. Ordinary day, I had plans, after this, I'm gonna do this. I'm still reflecting on all of that, but more to equanimity. It protected my mind to go, why did it happen to me? If it was just 5 minutes, 2 minutes later, if it was, instead of this is what happened, just I'm gonna be here. And it was so encouraging to see how the practice showed up. It literally just was there, right there as I was crawling out of the car on my knees. So that's the encouragement, that every time we sit, in every moment of mindfulness, all these beautiful qualities are developed. And then when we meet the challenges, we realize, oh, wow, here they are. They've been developing little by little, and here they are. It just really, really increases our faith and hopefully a commitment to practice. And just, I'm aware of time, so I'm just gonna say a few more things. So there is this delusion, or you can say illusion if you prefer the word, that things should be the way we want them to be. It's in all of us, and it takes the different shapes. When equanimity is present and it's in the mind, the perceptual process of equanimity counteracts this. And instead of I should, it literally sees everything. This is how it is. This is what is. It is so, so freeing, because from that perceptual process, from that perception, the response that's intuitive, it's skillful, it's spontaneous, can emerge to meet whatever we are facing. When we are in that perceptual process, it shouldn't, we are just perpetuating the conditioned patterns. Right? Because that's what mind continues to proliferate in. So just contemplate with me those moments when that was how you were meeting life, and when there was this sense of, oh, this is how it is. It's like this. What is the right response? What's the right medicine? So in the moments where there is reactivity, where there is this sense of being out of balance, we call this quality, we call upon it. And the way there are phrases we can contemplate, I offer a simple phrase as we were practicing. I can be with this for one breath. But the traditional phrase is, I am the owner of my karma. My happiness and unhappiness arises with my actions and not outside causes. I am the owner of my karma. Happiness and unhappiness, or my happiness and unhappiness, arises with my action and not outside causes. It also shifts how we perceive everyone else, how we perceive when our loved one is experiencing difficulty. And so we learn that with this practice that it's enough to just show up. We may not be able to fix the suffering. We may not be able to even help, but we can show up with just these little gifts we have. Little bit of patience, little bit of kindness, little bit of equanimity, and support. And support. How can I be of support? So freeing in our personal relationships. It frees us from this impulsivity to take on someone else's karma. But it's not through disconnection. It's not through dissociation. We are right there, remember, right there in the middleness. In relationship with, and yet free. Free to respond. Because sometimes we think it should be, our heart should be always loving, always this. Just a little bit is enough. Just showing up, being present. So that's my encouragement. And hopefully there are some practical things that I mentioned that can be applied, like as soon as you get off this call in your life, meeting life with equanimity instead of reactivity or dissociation. So our time for question and answers is here, but I would like to do this. It's very short practice. It's like 2 minutes. It's called sharing of blessings. It's a traditional Buddhist practice. And what it does when we practice together or on your own, we generate a lot of goodness. And that goodness can be shared. So I'll just lead us. It will be just 1 minute through traditional way of doing it, and you can just listen or you can join. May all beings benefit from the goodness of our practice. May all beings benefit from all the goodness we have generated together today, in this moment, in this hour. May all beings without exception be free from greed, hatred, and delusion. May all be safe. May all beings have ease of well-being. And then perhaps taking a time, if there is a particular being or beings that could especially benefit from the fruits of our practice, then bringing them to mind. And this way, every being you meet, you've already shared with them. So thank you. So we do have about 10 minutes for question and answers. So feel free to unmute. You can also send a question, Kiki, yes, through chat. That's okay too. Yes.
There was actually one person, Susan was asking if you could either post the poem or tell the name of the poem. I'm happy to type it in the chat if you have the title.
I am not sure that this is like a name of the poem, but it's the poet is Anne, Anne Morrow, Morrow, Lindbergh, Lindbergh, but it doesn't have a name. It's part of her writing. And I think the title is When the Pain is Great. So I think when you Google it, When the Pain is Great, it may show up. So when you are Googling this, When the Pain is Great, yes. Yes. Wasn't it just gorgeous, beautiful?
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes. Poets have just another way of naming things that touches and awakens something in us that Buddha's words sometimes don't. Anything else? It doesn't even have to be question about equanimity. If you have any question about practice, please feel free. It doesn't have to be question. You can just share. What are you thinking? What is the response to what I shared? It got really dark here. We are having sudden storm. Matthew, yes, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Okay,
you.
good. Thank you for the practice. I was as you were talking, talked a bit about equanimity and shutting down being one of the risks, I think, of not maybe not practicing it very well. As I had an interesting experience that I'll just share quickly, which is that I just recently got back from a 9 days long meditation retreat, and it's very just my my sensitivity is very high, and I the following day after I got back, I went out that evening with a group of friends, and a bunch of them were talking through some of the like troubles that they were having in their life, and I had this sensation of like, whoa, that's a lot, and I found normally with that group, I'm very I try to be open to everything that they're bringing and to kind of to hold it with some equanimity. But I found I just completely shut down. I didn't feel anything. They were sharing these very difficult things that happened, and it just went in my brain and out. I didn't feel it anywhere, and I know that's because of that feeling of overwhelm. So, but yeah, it was interesting what you were talking about a bit. Kind of reminded me of that experience. So I wanted to share.
Yes, yes, thank you. Thank you. Debbie, I see your hand, but I just want to say this thing, Matthew. How else? I didn't say it, so I want to just highlight it. One way of equanimity practice has been helpful to me is that I take things less personally, right? And I'm just going to stop there. If there is time, we can reflect on that. Such a gift, such a gift. Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Debbie.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Janka. Thank you so much for your teaching today. I'm going through something that is somewhat similar to you in that I am experiencing a lot of lower back pain recently that has just come on. It's been an issue for maybe 5 years or so, 5, 10 years. And I do find myself, when I think about it, I go to the past and say, oh, I've experienced this before, and the last time it took a year to heal, or, whatever that is, or especially to the future, saying, oh, what if this never goes away?
Yeah.
What if I need surgery? What if? So, I think staying in the now and not trying to predict what's going to happen would be very helpful. But it is easy to get caught up in that spiral
Mm,
of thinking of, all the negative things that could
mhm,
happen. So I just wanted to, I can somewhat relate to
mm.
what you're saying. So I thought that was what you said was helpful. And also, could you repeat what you said about being the owner of our karma? I would really appreciate that.
Mhm,
Thank you.
mhm. Yes, yes. I am the owner of my karma, which means actions, right? We usually, when we talk about karma vipaka, the result, that's what the main cultures think karma is. But karma is action through body, speech, and mind, right? So thinking too. So I am the owner of my karma. Happiness and unhappiness, or my happiness and unhappiness, arise with my actions and not outside causes. As you contemplate this phrase, this is not about first arrow. This is not about back pain, right? Right? It can be also like when you exercise and you strain something, okay, but like this with how is that my action, right? When somebody hit me. So it means it really addresses the second, third, and so on arrow, right? So we don't get confused about this. And I also wanted to respond to what you said. So the practice is I can be with this, right? Embodiment, breathing with, not shutting down around the pain, not tensing up around the pain. But thinking needs to be addressed. So let's say you notice that thinking pattern, Debbie. You already know that pattern. There is no need to proliferate to go. What's needed is, I know this is not helpful, and you literally cut it, right? Because sometimes it's helpful to explore the thinking because it may tell you like, oh, that emotion is present, that's what's occurring. But if it's a familiar pattern, Debbie, it's like, no. And there is a teaching, you can Google, that Buddha has given. There are 5 ways of working with, I think it's probably called unwholesome thinking. And it's literally like, no, not going there, or distracting. So you instead use meta phrase. So the mind is still engaged, but it's not engaged in thinking that way. So you use the phrase like equanimity phrase or meta phrase to redirect your mind to something else. It needs to happen because when thinking continues to proliferate, it's going to bring more all that like from all that's stored, that's old and not helpful.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you for sharing.
I'm going to try that.
One breath at a time, Debbie. And that's really what we have anyway. We just think there is this assumption that there is tomorrow, but right here, right here. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Yes. Kiki, I know our time is up, so I'll thank you all so much for choosing to spend time in cultivation of the practice. May all beings once again benefit from our practice. They do, because we are part of the collective mind. So thank you. Kiki.
Thank you.